Hello, hello. Welcome back to Body Tuning Live. This week I am preparing for a 4-day trek I'm doing over the weekend. I'm leaving Friday morning and I'm going to be hiking Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and returning Monday evening. So that gives me today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days to try to prepare my legs for this hiking. I'm covering 10 to 12 miles a day with a backpack and carrying my own food and water. I'm going with some friends, but I want to try to get my body in shape for this. So today we're going to work on what I consider to be the essentials for getting ready for hiking, which is controlling the knees on the descending movement of hiking. As you're going down the hill, we need to train the knees to be comfortable for that. And also to get the hip unflexed from all of the sitting we've been doing so that my hips and back are more free so that I can handle the impact of the bag and to make my walking a little bit easier and faster. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to loosen up the hips and strengthen the knees today. Okay, just starting general warm up, easy balancing, plenty of shaking through the arms. Good, picking out the legs, just warming up, loosening up a little bit, seeing what's stiff before we dig in. And kicking the feet outwards and straight ahead. Getting in. Okay, going to start to pop up and down now. Okay, adding some strength to the legs here. I'm going to start to land on one foot, going side to side. Good, bringing it back down, shaking the knees out. Oh, good. Okay. A little bit more strengthening for the legs. Good, nice, easy shaking out. Okay, still just warming up the body. Okay, so the main movement I'm going to use to try to prepare my knees for the downhill. Since when you're walking down steps or going down a hill, the main damage comes when you have to slow your descent on the way down, under tension. Right, so you're basically contracting the muscle, but also the muscle's lengthening at the same time to lower you down. And that causes a big stress for the muscle. So I need to train it accordingly in that same way. So I'm going to use this step back lunge to train the knees, okay? And the focus here is really on reaching backwards so that we're not trying to go straight down and run into the knee, right? It's okay if the shin stays perpendicular to the floor. Okay, and you don't have to go as low as I am either. This exercise works fine going to here. Right? Just build it up and try to get the rhythm in between. Sometimes lower, sometimes higher. Good, let's kick that out real quick. Okay, so we're gonna do a couple of sets of those today to get my knees in shape. And the other aspect is we need to try to increase the hip extension, right? So I'm gonna practice our basic lunge position. We're just gonna play around with getting this front of the hip open, okay? So there's lots of different angles we can use, especially related to the back leg, right? If you're in the lunge position, and you want to stretch more of the deeper hip flexor, you can keep the back foot straight like it is right now and just work on moving the hips forwards and down. If we take the back foot and turn it out about 45 degrees like this, right? Now the pelvis opens slightly and we capture much more of the inner thigh and groin area, right? So we want to play with both of these angles today. Okay, from the side, I'm just dipping into the front knee and out of the front knee. Notice how the upper body basically just rides on the carriage of the pelvis, right? If I were at home, I'm doing whatever, carrying dishes, plates, whatever, serving to the table, picking something up, putting my bag on the floor, whatever. The idea is my legs doing all the work here. This is what we want. We're trying to keep this hips facing in line with the front leg. And sometimes turning the foot over, stretching through this way. Again, the upper body remains on the carriage of the pelvis. If you find yourself tipping forward, it's going to put a lot of stress on the hamstrings and not a lot of stress on the areas we want, right? So the chest and torso should remain upright and just kind of sitting on the pelvis. And you just move the pelvis around in space, right? Even if we do the twisties, and I'm just looking at moving the pelvis. I'm not trying to get any kind of lean or angles like, no. Just find what's comfortable, or you can twist and rotate. And we'll just collect time in the lunge. Okay. Good. We'll switch to the other side. And again, just dipping in. I'm starting with the back leg at 45, but this leg feels quite a bit different than the other one. I can pretty much just go down with no restrictions. So something's up with my left hip today. Okay, I'm going to straighten the leg out, do some stretching forwards. Again, feeling relatively unimpeded on this side of my body. Okay, let's go right back into our step back lunges. Just trying to build up the thighs and knees to prepare. Okay, again, you don't have to be going as deep as I am, but I'm starting to get a good amount of fatigue in the front of my leg. We can just as easily work with this. Okay, we're going to take it down to the ground now and try to stretch this hip flexor quite deeply. Okay, again, we're going to use the pelvis as a carriage. The upper body's relaxed. We're going to just move the whole pelvis in and out. Okay, in this case, the back leg is straight, right, facing backwards with my back foot. I'm going to play with the side-to-side movement here. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting pretty good opening in the hip angle here, right? But what I really want to strengthen is the whole knee system. So in order to address that flexibility, I need to be able to get this leg up here. Okay, and once I've got it here, I'm just going to work on squeezing the butt on the back leg. And that alone is going to create a pretty intense stretch in the front of the leg. Okay, obviously you need some good pillow, maybe something more than a yoga mat for this. But what you want to focus on is, again, keeping the nice carriage here upright and squeezing the left butt, right? Because that's what's going to really put the stretch in the right place. If you just hold the hand, arch the back, and lean forward, it's just going to look like you're stretching. But if you stay upright and squeeze the butt really firmly, you're going to feel that you're really actually stretching this way, or at least the stuff that you want to be in this position. Not my favorite position to be in, but I think this is going to help me in the long run. Okay, and I'm just going to slowly let that go down. Whoa. Let that leg go in the front. Let's just mix up that whole muscle we were just stretching there. Yeah, working around the kneecap area. Look for anything that's sensitive there using the two thumbs. Right? You can dig under the kneecap, around. You're just looking for whatever feels uncomfortable at the moment. Good. Getting some stuff. Good. Mixing up the muscle. Okay, we're going to hit another round of strengthening here. Okay, using the step back lunges. This will be our last set of these, so try to go until you get a decent burn in the thighs, okay? Okay, if it's starting to bother the knees at all, right, you just do a little bit lighter, a little bit higher, a little bit easier, okay? Nothing wrong with that. Okay, we're coming up on the end here. I'm getting a pretty good full burn through the thighs. I feel more of the leg is getting activated, which is good. It's starting to become more balanced. Good. Excellent. We'll start to cool down the leg. We'll do some more stretching. And that looks like we did a good job for the quadriceps getting ready here. Okay, we're going to widen the stance a bit here. And as we shift from side to side, we're going to turn one foot up. And we're going to stretch down into this leg, okay? You're going to feel it all through this line here. Okay? Not too long, we'll just go to the other side. Up, pivot the feet, and down. Up, pivot the feet, and down. Good. Let's shake that out. Get some easy jumping and coordinate the legs. Okay, let's take it into our lunges once more. Okay, I'm going to use the 45-degree angle in the back, and I'm going to really work on changing my hip position to get the stretch this time, okay? So just like when we were on the ground, I'm going to focus on squeezing the glute muscle, the butt muscle, on the back of the leg that you're trying to stretch, right? Because that's going to push the pelvis around to the front and create the stretch down the inner thigh, okay? So if I don't use the glute, my hips stay facing this way. And when I squeeze, right, when I really squeeze the butt, it pushes this hip forward and the hips face forward. And now I'm free to just work into the stretch that way, okay? Focusing on the firm butt, nice loose upper body, just riding on the carriage of the pelvis. I'm going to turn that foot in now. Try to grab some different angles, maybe on the outside of my hip. Twist all the way around. Okay, slowly I'm going to drop this back knee towards the floor. So I'm here in my lunge, and I'm just going to carefully put it on the ground. Already getting a big stretch in the front, squeezing the butt. And upper body is relaxed, riding on our carriage. And if I can, I'm going to use my own muscles to pull this up. Oh, this was close to a cramp. Okay, again, squeezing the butt here. Good, slowly letting go and lowering with some control down. Good, let's take it over to the other leg. Okay, opening up to the lunge position, squeezing the butt to get the hips to turn around. Squeezing, squeezing, squeezing. And just sinking in, forwards and in. Don't worry about where you feel the stretch. If you're in this position, it's doing something good for you. I'm going to turn that leg over, try to capture more aspects of the hip. I'm just fishing around with the angles, trying to find the stretch I want. Okay, slowly I'm going to ride this knee down towards the ground, very slow, carefully. Squeezing the butt again, waiting to feel the stretch here. Okay, if I can, I'm going to use my own muscle power to lift the back leg and then grab hold. So again, squeezing the butt to make the stretch happen. Maybe rocking in an inch or two. Okay, and using, again, taking muscle power from the leg to let go of the hands and slowly bring this leg down to comfort. Good. I'm going to spend a second on the knees here. Okay, just letting them open. And we're going to squeeze, alternating each hip. Okay, you're squeezing the butt on one side, and this pushes the hip forward. Squeeze on this side, pushes forward. Okay, if you don't want to be on the knees, you can do this standing with the leg straight. In fact, we'll probably move to that in a second. I just find it's easier to remove the variables if you're comfortable on the knees. Okay, so I'm basically trying to get this hip to push forward to get the stretch in the right groin, and then this hip to push forward and get the stretch in the left groin. And we'll just go back and forth. Okay, I'm going to take that same exercise up to standing. And I've got the feet apart, the hips wide. Right? I'm just going to squeeze one butt to push the hip forward, turns my pelvis slightly away, and then I switch. I push the other one facing this way. Wow, what a difference between the hips. You can also spread the ground apart with the feet to help activate the sides of the hip. This oftentimes is the key to getting the inner thighs to relax as we increase the tone on the outside of the hips, right? By spreading the feet away from each other on the ground, gripping the ground open. Okay, twisty, twisty, twisty. Let's shake out the body and start to cool down. Keeping the legs all directions. Do it feels good here. Okay, folks, that was a pretty good workout for my legs. I'm definitely sweating. I definitely hit some painful spots that I was not expecting. And I'm going to be working this way for the next 4 days. If you found some of these stretches to be particularly uncomfortable in the knee or hip area, I encourage you to really stick with it for the rest of this week. We're going to really focus on improving the legs for the rest of this week. And at first, sometimes these stretches can be kind of painful. But if we stick with it, they'll help you the way they've helped me to feel more stable and more open in the stomach and lower back area. And more importantly, to get rid of the pain in the knees and the ankles and whatnot. Okay, so tomorrow we'll probably address the ankles a little bit more and then run through some of this program stuff again. We'll see if I get very sore from the lunges today. Hopefully I do, and we can focus on building the hamstrings, and then we'll switch back and forth for the week. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow with more preparation for hiking. Okay, bye-bye.